Well, good morning, everybody, and good morning, Derek.
Morning, Nate. How's it today? You too cold getting in here?
Nothing can hurt me.
Nothing. Really?
Nothing can hurt me.
Nate, every time you offer that, A, I take it as a challenge, and B, the Bills also take it as a challenge. Be careful what you wish for there. Don't say it.
Nothing can hurt me.
You learn no lessons.
So I just want to, rewind this back to Thursday because our esteemed colleague, Owen Power.
Oh, Owen Parker?
No, Owen Power. I'm calling him Owen Power now.
Height's the same.
I'm going to tell you this, buddy. I'm impressed. I got to say, the parlay killer, Owen Power. Owen Power Parker. How about that? There we go. That's got like some... You kind of do look like Owen Power. You got the hair, you got the flow, you got the size, you got the hands.
I got a call after he got drafted from a coach who thought I was Owen Power. That happened. He was like, I didn't know you were like first overall. Like, I'm not.
You were good, but I didn't know you were that good.
I'm thinking about tomorrow, buddy.
Didn't kill the parlay.
Not only didn't kill the parlay,
I bet the parlay.
Heck yeah, you did.
Nothing can break me now. The Sabres might be good.
He actually also helped with the double negative because Jeremy called it a must-win.
Right, we broke all curses. We won the parlay. It's one Buffalo right now. It's hot.
It's hot. It's never been hotter.
So hot right now.
It feels like maybe that was the final Horcrux. I don't know. We're gonna find out.
I mean, all kinds of good news coming out.
Right.
So.
The vibes are high. The Sabres, they win last night. They'll play tonight. And I just found out that I have a 45-minute postgame show tonight. Nothing can break me. I'm unbreakable.
Fool of a took. Stop saying that.
The Browns.
Pain can come from the most unlikely of sources. You do know that, right?
The Browns. What do you say about the Browns other than,
I had to do an hour.
Like, what do you do?
Wow. I had to do an hour before this, and I couldn't care less to talk about this game. I think that's where the danger lies here today for me is that I could not care less. You're saying nothing can hurt you.
Yeah.
And Owen, as we're setting up, agreed with I don't really have the gusto to talk about Bills and Browns within detail today. And we're only going to care about this game if they lose.
That's correct.
So all of that combined there, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I'm just going to say, you say nothing can hurt you.
It's because nothing can.
Don't invite the challenge.
I'll say this about the Browns, or just really today's game in general, which is I thought that the NFL was cutting back on preseason games. This is the latest preseason game in NFL history. It's 12-21. It's the 21st of December, and we are playing a preseason game.
The Bills aren't alone in that, though. The Houston Texans get Vegas.
That's right. They stink.
The Raiders are worse.
They stink.
No, they're worse.
They're worse, but they're not as sad. Like, they're in a bustling city, they're in Las Vegas. Like, when the players lose, they just can go throw 100 on red and see what happens,
I suppose you're right.
Where the Browns, we lived this for a very long time. You'd look outside, it'd be snowing, and you're wondering, A, is the game going to be blacked out on CBS? And B, can we scrap together, $14, and do we want to go sit together in the 300 levels and drink frozen beer and hot chocolate and watch this game? Who are they playing? Are they playing a good quarterback? Like, this is the game that I'd always remember as a kid, like, who's the opposing quarterback? Did they play somebody cool? Like, and if you're a Browns fan,
play somebody cool today.
If you're a Browns fan, you're like, we get to go watch Josh Allen play. Like, let's go do it. I heard you talking a little bit about Myles Garrett too. Obviously, he's like really to me the only logical storyline of this game. And the
you're not big on the Shedeur story?
I don't know who it's a story for somebody. It's just we'll get to Shedeur at some point.
Yeah.
But with Myles Garrett, I think I've become more and more impressed with what Myles Garrett is doing because how can you do it playing for the Browns? And, like, doing it despite not playing meaningful football since week 6, week 7, going from Flacco to I saw this tweet and it was just fantastic. It was like, hey, we're gonna trade for Kenny Pickett, and then right before camp we're gonna trade Kenny Pickett and we're gonna have Flacco, trade Flacco to a division opponent, start Dylan Gabriel and then bench Dylan Gabriel and then go with Shedeur Sanders. And it's just like, man, and there's part of this conversation today about the Browns is about Kevin Stefanski as well. But what Myles Garrett has done despite his organization that he plays for being, a consistent laughingstock in the NFL, it's not just about, the wins and losses. It's about the personnel. It's about the choices in personnel. It's about drafting Dylan Gabriel and then drafting Shedeur Sanders in the 5th round. It just, these things just don't really line up for me. And yet, Judkins is a nice back, and I know people give Jerry Jeudy a hard time. I think he's probably better than people think he is. He's a fine receiver. What's the tight end's name? Harold
Fannin.
Fannin.
Yeah,
nice young player. Hold on, before I even get down this road, something can break me and has broken me.
See, what'd it take? 3 minutes?
So
3 minutes.
Fantasy football guys.
3 minutes.
You guys in any championships or semifinals this week?
Nope. I actually abstained from playing fantasy football this year.
All right.
Despite having a show called
Thief of Joy. Thief of Joy.
Thief of Joy. I kept my own joy this year, and yet I host a show called Breakfast with the Bills Fantasy Style.
Owen.
I am in the wide receiver train semifinal.
Very nice. Very nice.
My last.
I am in the PM semifinal today.
Oh, good.
Really?
Actually, I think I'm in there too.
I believe you are. Yes.
Am I
plot twist? They're playing each other.
I'm facing Joe DiBiase in 2 separate leagues today.
Ooh. Oh, okay. You got to cook them.
One league though. 75 points down after Thursday night. Because I was facing Nakua and JSN. And then I am now 140 points back after yesterday because he had Hurts, Barkley, and somebody else that did the thing. So, that
one's not looking good.
That one's I am not going to win. Not going to win that matchup. I just I wanted to make sure and also if you're interested in calling in today and talking about fantasy, you have some fantasy questions. Again, the Bills play the Browns, so I'm happy to talk about fantasy if you guys want to talk fantasy with me. Like I said, I think I'm in, let's see, 1, 2, 3. I'm in 6 semifinals today.
That sounds like a lot of work.
I mean, I'm here. I'm not, I'm not in a room with dry erase markers and boards and,
He says
scheming.
this while having 3 computer monitors in front of him, by the way.
In fairness, I'm using none of them. Actually, 4. I actually have 4.
Okay. See, there you go. He has 4 computer monitors.
All right, so back to the Browns here. There are some redeeming pieces.
Real quick,
on this
you
team,
mentioned the Myles Garrett thing.
Yeah,
and I wanted to expand on that a little bit. You said it's impressive. I think it's sad.
Well, it's both
it's
impressive
tragic.
and sad. Yeah, it's tragic.
It's tragic in a way of that contract and him signing that deal really hurts because a player like that should not be locked down by a franchise so pitiful that you have a player threatening to set the single-season sack record and you have 3 wins. It's a bit of a tragedy, so to say, a football tragedy that it's playing out that way.
It's kind of like that TikTok when the guy's walking past the little retail store and there's a cat in there and he's locked inside. He's like, "I'm gonna get you out of there.
Yep,
I'm gonna get you out of there."
But now, thanks to the contract, you're not getting him out.
But in fairness, he's not trapped. He signed up for it.
I know, and that's the thing. Is man,
he signed up for it.
Selfishly, several months ago, within the same year, I should say, Deion Dawkins was actively campaigning,
hard selling him,
actively campaigning to get him here. And then
hard selling.
Then that contract happens. Man, it should have. You bring up that meme, and I bring up, because I'm an absolute nerd, I bring up the Yu-Gi-Oh meme. It should have been me, not him. It's not fair. And that's how I feel about Myles Garrett, is that we should be benefiting from that. That should be our cliff from 21.5 sacks to the next best being 6.
That'd be cool. That would have been cool if the Bills were able to do that. And then, obviously for the Bills today, this is a Browns team that has lost to the Titans. they
said enough.
And Shedeur Sanders, I think largely he's a player that isn't really important enough to talk about as much as he's talked about. I don't think it's self-manufactured. I think he's largely a victim of who his father is and the media who loves stories like this. Like, listen, I think in large part, especially the national media, people are bored. They need things to talk about. They need to create drama.
They need the shiny keys.
And in Shedeur's defense, I don't think he's done anything wrong. During the draft process, maybe it was a little bit of cockiness and the league, in a way, kind of showing him. But I'll be honest with you. He's an NFL quarterback. Is he a starter? I don't know, probably not. But he can play.
He can play. I think the Titans game was that litmus test of if you can't ball out against a bad Titans team, or at least play look competent, you're not an NFL quarterback. So he passed that threshold with flying colors. But
at times looked better than the first overall pick. So
that's more of the environments as well. But hey, he's playing for Cleveland, so no excuses there, Cam Ward. I will say, I think you're right ultimately in the fact that he's talked about more than he should be based on the type of player that he is. But I also look at everything that happened with Shedeur Sanders, and it is a failure of his father, not giving him the right draft advice. He didn't have an agent. He was working through his dad. And it's one of those instances where, Dion failed as a dad for Shedeur and really hit his draft stock hard. Shedeur Sanders probably should not have been a 5th-round pick based on what we have seen. He also was never going to be a first-rounder either, though. He does not have the requisite athleticism to do that.
Or I think, top-end NFL arm strength. But again, a couple weeks ago, he throws for 400 and something yards in a game, and they almost come back and win that game against the Titans. They don't. But again, I think playing in Cleveland, especially as a quarterback, a young quarterback, is very difficult because of just the history. I mean, I'm not here to tell you. I think largely earlier this year there was a lot of Baker's an MVP level quarterback, and I am as big of a Baker fan as you're going to get outside of Tampa.
Start the year, that narrative was strong.
He is a very good quarterback. He's a top 10 quarterback, but he's not at the level of the Allens and the Mahomes and the Lamar Jacksons and Joe Burrows. But he's the next tier. He's probably heading the next tier of quarterbacks.
Would you say safely that he's that high floor quarterback? He will, at worst, he'll still at least be able to get the job done.
Yep.
And at his best, he could win you a game himself. But it's not as
He
frequently.
misses Liam Cohen.
Yes.
Is what that entire offense misses Liam
Jacksonville
Cohen.
is definitely reaping
they
the
are
benefits
reaping
there.
the benefits. But, I don't know. When you break it down, there's not this is not the kind of game or pre-game where you're going to talk a lot about what the Browns might try to do to the Bills. It's going to be, can the Bills do enough against Myles Garrett? Can they get the ball out quickly? And can they run the football like they have really all season? Because if they can run the football, I imagine this is a game. Now, I think I saw that there's a couple of incentives in this game. 2 catches for Dawson Knox. I think you can probably lock that in. He gets, I think, a $200,000 incentive. There's a Joey Bosa sack incentive with 1 sack today. There's a Matt Milano sack incentive with 1 sack today. So there's a couple of things. And then obviously Josh Allen is 1 touchdown away from 300 career touchdowns. I imagine those, harder to manage the ones defensively. But on offense, I imagine Dawson Knox, who's having a resurgence as an important piece in this offense. And I think this sort of speaks to why I suspect Gabriel Davis is back in the lineup today, is because of what Dawson Knox is doing. And I think what we're seeing is, as the dust starts to settle, not just in the wide receiver room, but as these pass catchers start to finally get healthy, fall into place, Mecole Hardman back in the lineup today. Interested to see if they throw him out there like they did in his first game with the Bills and just kind of send him on a backside go, and let's see if we can lift the top off the defense. I guarantee there's probably 1 shot in this game to Mecole Hardman, but I look at these pass catchers and I use Dawson Knox as this example because Josh is now starting to moving in the direction of feeding players that he trusts, that he's been around, and Dawson Knox is that. I mean, he's the longest standing Bill. that has played with Josh Allen.
Yes.
So having that connection, now he has been largely an afterthought in this offense for the better part of 2 or 3 seasons now. Just not really contributing at a high level week to week. It was a catch here, a catch there. Hey, it was downfield, a nice seam route, and then, he's largely been a blocker. But I think with the injuries and the inconsistencies we've seen from Dalton Kincaid and just his inability to be on the field, I like and as much as you're going to hear me constantly pound the table for, I want to see more of Dalton Kincaid. 35 to 40% of the snaps right now is probably the best thing he's going to be able to give this offense if you want to keep him healthy throughout the playoffs, which I think they do. He's not been practicing. And Sean McDermott alluded that to this week, that it's largely because they just want to make sure that he's fresh for these games. So, Dawson Knox, I imagine now as we continue moving forward, I think we're going to see more Gabriel Davis. I'll be fascinated to know what they're going to do with Keon Coleman. I don't know that he's done anything to be benched, but they're now in a numbers game at wide receiver. They're going to have 7 receivers, and that means 1 or 2 receivers are not going to make the game day 48. I do wonder if it's Keon Coleman now going back down and will be in street clothes on the sidelines. I just can't imagine it's Gabriel Davis 2 weeks in a row.
I mean, if it is, then it's just Gabe Davis was
a practice squad elevation.
It was a practice squad elevation, and it was more of the idea of Gabe Davis sounded a lot better than the practicality of Gabe Davis, and that would be what the message is at that point. But I do suspect that. Yeah, like you said, Keon Coleman hasn't done anything to necessarily be benched as of right now, but
he also hasn't done really anything to stay in the lineup either.
And that's exactly what it is.
To be honest with you,
he had a block that probably should have been called a hold, but I'll take it. But that was it. That was the only play that I saw Keon Coleman on my tape, and that he stuck out was that he was driving a player down the field on a really impressive run. I also saw the red glove on the shoulder pad, and I'm like, ooh, okay. You got away with one. I'm cool with it, but you got away with one. And yeah, that's it. There's no real impact on a consistency basis from him, much like, quite frankly, the entirety of the wide receiver room outside of Khalil Shakir having his role within the slot. Nobody really is safe on this roster when it comes to being a healthy scratch right now.
No, I would tell you there's a guy I've been kind of looking for more from, and it's Josh Palmer. I know the injury has kind of kept him sparingly in the lineup. But, he's their marquee offseason acquisition, marquee. They kind of need more from him on a down-to-down big play. I mean, he's kind of their downfield separator. And, this offense doesn't do a ton of operation in that deep intermediate middle of the field area. And I think they could do more, and they should do more because they have Josh Palmer, who I think that's where the strength of his game lies. So, I'd like to see more from Josh Palmer.
I'd like to see more of it, but considering what this offense has been running like this year with its play calling and its route structure, I'm not seeing it. It's a pipe dream, right? If we keep asking for it every week, we're going to keep. You say nothing hurts you. Well, that will eventually if you keep asking for it and you don't receive that. I'm looking at this the other way. Run the football today. Do you want to keep Myles Garrett from being able to pin his ears back and try to tee off? Browns are middle of the pack in defending the run. The Bills have made better teams in run defense look worse this year. I don't care how you do it today, because Browns games have typically become, outside of the hilarious losses, forgettable. Make this another forgettable game.
Yeah, and I also wonder how much Joe Brady, Sean McDermott care about the fact that, probably 3 weeks ago we weren't having this conversation, but we're now having this conversation, which is, Josh Allen kind of back in the conversation for MVP and having 145 yards on 21 attempts and a touchdown.
I think
takes you out of it.
I think people are bored. You said it. The national media is bored, and Josh Allen's back in the conversation again. It's Matt Stafford's award. We don't need to talk about it.
I disagree. I think Matt Stafford's a great chance of winning, and I think he's the favorite right now.
They've got Bo Nix in this conversation now, Nate. They're bored.
No. Bo Nix isn't actually in the conversation.
He was in that betting conversation. I don't know. I saw that, and I'm like, come on now. We've missed the plot.
I think that Josh definitely has an argument to be made he should be in it with 3 weeks to go. And I guess that's sort of my point. I obviously, in a loss, he played fantastic. I think last year showed that, and I think this award over the better part of now 3 years has showed this isn't necessarily the quarterback with the best stat award. It's the quarterback that's most valuable to his team. And again, this is no disrespect to Matt Stafford. Matt Stafford has the best wide receiver in football, the best offensive mind in football, maybe in the NFL history, and also a very good running game. He also, if you want to talk about, Josh Allen steals touchdowns from James Cook. I mean, they throw the goal line fade more than any team in football. The goal line fade is basically just the tush push, but the ball goes in the air. It's a sexy tush push. So
sexy, less successful tush push.
He's a goal line fade merchant. So I mean, Devontae Adams has like 7 touchdowns that are less than 2 yards. So listen, they're likely gonna be a wild card team, and in the last, I think it's 7-8 years. No quarterback that hasn't had a number 1 seed or division winner has won an MVP, and that might be the same for the Bills.
Yeah,
the Bills might not win their division, but the Bills are still in it. Obviously, the Rams are still in it, but the Seahawks are kind of in the driver's seat now, and the 49ers are right there.
Yeah,
so,
but you can't use the excuse for one player and then not use it for the other. I think Matt Stafford also, I think it's almost your due. You've had great statistical seasons all throughout your career. Now you're having one again, and your team is close to the top of the league. I feel like that is, okay, you can hand it to him and not really feel bad about it. It's a storied career, and you get to add another accomplishment to it. Whereas with Allen, I think that last year's conversation was tiring and tiresome.
yes, it was.
For all parties involved. And I think if you do it again with another subpar statistical season, I think then we get to, because James Cook might lead the league in rushing. Do you give an MVP to a quarterback when your running back is leading the league in rushing? No, because I would have said the same thing last year.
Derrick Henry in 23 was second in the league in rushing behind Christian McCaffrey.
And that 23 should have gone to Dak.
It probably should have. So but again, that's my point.
But I'm not going to change where I'm sitting on this based on these things, because 23, they screwed up. I think last year they did get it right. If it's Allen again, I don't know if it's the right call, honestly.
I think that, he's outpacing his statistics from last year in an MVP season. B, he has arguably the worst defense in football right now. He is 4-2 in games that defenses score 30 or more points. He has 3 fourth-quarter comebacks this season that are as good as any fourth-quarter comeback in the NFL, and he leads the league in touchdowns, yards, attempts, completions, and EPA and DVOA in the fourth quarter. So, I mean, those are things that I think are at least worthy of having conversations, because to me, again, if it's just a statistical award, then every year it'll just be whoever has the most touchdown passes.
But I look at it, though, Stafford has kept his team at the top of the league as well as Buffalo. They're in similar spots right now. It's very similar, and Stafford does have better numbers. I think that if cases are getting similar here, because they are, in terms of team standing,
you'd go with the guy who has one more overall touchdown, I think 300 extra yards passing. And has a wide receiver that's probably going to have historic numbers.
Because writers also like a good story.
They do.
And a good story would be
writers are not, but writers are not. All I'm talking about is resume. I'm not talking about what other people or like what the media will say. I'm just mostly making the case that I don't think this is wrapped up. I think Josh Allen absolutely has an opportunity over the next couple of weeks. If Josh Allen goes for 303 touchdowns today, 2 on the ground and one passing, or vice versa, and the Bills win 35-10, I think that he will be right there. I think he'll be second in voting, and I think Stafford will still be the favorite. and will have probably earned the favorite. But listen, I'm going to tell you this. If all of a sudden,
if the Bills end up stealing
the division, I think that they're going to have a real argument to have.
Yeah, I will agree with that.
All right, be listening for the ECMC halftime show. ECMC, go where the Bills go. We'll be recapping the key moments of the first half and bringing you up to date on the Skyworks stats of the game. Skyworks Equipment Rental, building America from the ground up. 803-0550 is the number, and that's when we get connected with our fans, which is powered, of course, by Verizon, the official 5G partner of the Buffalo Bills. Time for a break. We'll be back in a snap. It's brought to you by Snapdragon Apples, the official app of the Buffalo Bills.